It's the most wonderful time of the year. What's up, everyone? Lance Hedrick here, donning the old Santa Claus hat, but of course, it's making my head want to explode, so we're going to take that off. I need to make something very clear. I try to make it as loud as possible, but it somehow gets lost in the cracks. Do not sit there with your credit card on the table ready to just buy whatever's discussed. Do not sit there and think that I'm saying you need to have these in order to make good coffee. That could be further from the truth. What you have is more than sufficient. I'm just talking about things I'm excited about from this year, whether it's from a price perspective, an innovation perspective, or taste perspective, whatever it might be. These are just things that I really enjoyed from this year, and I want to share them with you today. So some of these we've obviously hit, some we haven't, and that's just what it's going to be. So sit back, brew yourself a cup of coffee, something tasty, and let's jump right in. First up, this one needs no introduction. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but if I'm going to talk about my favorite things of 2025, it necessarily deserves a spot. There's no way around it, and that is, of course, the Oxo Rapid Brewer. Now, a lot of you have gotten on this train and are absolutely loving it. Some of you are hesitant to get on it because you think it's something that it's not. But this is essentially one of the greatest brewers that you could have. So it is made from Triton, which all of it is dishwasher safe with the exception of this bad boy right here. So that's an immediate turnoff for a lot of people. Understandable, not going to argue that. But this is something that has been my go-to travel brewer. It's fantastic. I can do soup with it, which is essentially a really concentrated, fast-flowing filter shot, which is faster than any brew you're going to get when it comes to manual brewing. You want to talk about AirPress, that's going to take you all in all about a minute with all of the steeping and everything that you're wanting. With this, you pour the water in, you do a slow saturation, then you pump till it's done. You got like 14 seconds. You have a delicious cup of coffee with espresso concentration. Or you can do what some have called long soup, or essentially just a bigger ratio soup. Maybe if I do 20 grams of coffee, I'll do 200 grams of water, and I'll make it coarse enough so that the bottom saturates before any pressure is applied. And then after that saturation phase, let it sit for a few seconds, and then a nice slow pump until all the liquid's out. Delicious. You also get pretty decent cold brew of this. You put pretty finely ground coffee in there, you let room temp water sit for about 3, 4, 5 minutes, then you pump it through, and it's actually quite nice. I've done that in a pinch before when I didn't have hot water. So it's something I'm actually pushing people to get if they're having issues with manual brew or not really getting into filter coffee. This, I think, is a great step in that direction. Also, it's simple to clean. Some people overthink it. You have a filter on the bottom here. You knock out that puck. You do a simple little wipe, and all of this is clean. All you got to do is wipe, water left over, but you have to do the same with an AirPress. But super fast to clean, super fast to deconstruct. Only these 5 pieces, and this is a tamper. Anyway, first on our list, without question, is the Oxo Rapid Brewer. No surprise there. Let's just move that away. And now we have a way to get our next performer on stage. And that is not Away Protein. We're talking about Away, the sponsor of today's video. So Away is a company designed by travelers for travelers, where they're giving you these lovely, luscious things you can travel with. Now, this is the best time of the year to buy your loved one some sort of travel gear. That's a little hint that you're going to go on a little trip. I think that's a really fun thing to do. So I have here the large carry-on, which is an olive green. And I have here the large toiletry bag, which is also an olive green. Look at that gliding, 360-degree glide wheels. They go through 30 tests. Make sure ain't nothing getting through that impenetrable barrier. Also, we got TSA locks right there. And on the bottom, look at this. Got a nice little convenient, slippy slidey hand. But on over here, we have nylon, waterproof on the outside. It's structured, but it's not rigid. We have nice little compartments that you can shove hand grinder brush there. This could be your little hand grinder bag. All I know is I use this first ever toiletry bag I've had, and it makes separating my things a lot more enjoyable. Shop holiday savings all month long. Go to awaytravel.com to get your best price of the season. Biggest sale in general for Away. Check it down below. Check the call to action right there, which is a QR code. Thank you so much to Away for sponsoring the video. Now let's put the things back away, and we'll continue on our merry way as we get on to coffee. Next on the list is one that has not seen this channel yet, and that is the Timemore C5 Pro. So they also have the ESP Pro. The fact that they are executing at such a high quality of material and build, it blows me away. And in the past, the execution has been lackluster. And in fact, that execution of their burrs has made me not like Timemore, or made me not like Timemore for a bit. And I just didn't really use their products. I thought it was too gimmicky. Until the Timemore 078 came out. Again, I had my initial skepticism, and I wasn't even going to get one until a friend of mine, Dennis Sabo, up in Norway, got one, was singing its praises, and then I was able to get one through a VPN before they actually made their official launch. that I bought at full price. But anyway, end up loving that. They've gone through, they've made this pineapple burr with the Melab 01, and it's a fine grinder. It's not my favorite, which is also a weird type of burr, though it makes lots of sense. I'm glad they thought it through. Longer burr, more burr path, yada, yada, yada. We won't get into it here. But this one, what I love about it is they actually have a very similar geometry to what we normally see with heptagonal burrs, but they add some horizontal cuts in the pre-breaking phase. And with this one, I don't actually find it being offensive. I think it does just a fine job. I don't think it differs too much from something that you're getting from heptagonal burrs. If anything, it might have a little bit more clarity, but that could just be me being optimistic because of the build quality of this. This is the heptagonal burr in it, and as you see, we have horizontal slices right here. So it's slice to cut their technology there. But overall, this heptagonal burr is very similar to a lot of the ones we have on the market. The build, the robustness of it, higher quality than the King Grinder K6, which typically comes under 100, and a lot of people love. Big difference here is the King Grinder has external clicks, whereas this one is still internal. So that's lame. But the build quality of this is better. The feel of it is a lot better. The look of it is a lot better. I am a fan of this grinder. I think it does a fantastic job. Under $100, hard to do better. They have really nice, thick shear plate on the bottom that helps with transitioning the torque. Something that a lot of other hand grinders kind of cheap out on, make it a lot thinner. I just love how compact it is. I love these bend handles, little piece of rubber on the back so it doesn't bang the body. I just think it feels really, really nice and premium. The texture on it is fantastic. It's just a sleek grinder for under $100. You gotta love that. I don't think they're really reinventing the wheel with the burr. I think they're being unique with that slicing. I don't think it has as much effect on that final particle size distribution as people might want you to think. It's just a unique pre-breaker. It's pre-breaking it. The main part of that is the final crushing. But regardless, wonderful little hand grinder. Super stoked that is now available and on the market for under $100. So we have $35, $100. But that's price. You don't have to worry about it. Anyway, let me sip from my new Magnolia Mountain mug. You can't really get this, so sorry. They do limited drops. Magnolia Mountains out of Australia. Absolutely love them. I've done 2 drops with them personally. That's just a little friendly plug because I bought this. They're not cheap. Side note. Okay, that's not one of my 5. Next up is one we have seen on this channel just recently, which is the Ikape. I knew what would happen when I posted about this. People would bring up the Alton that's been out or the one from Wakeko. And yes, I have used those and they're good. I specifically wanted to feature this one because for me, the feeling of it, the quality of it, the way that it brews, the way that it is built, I prefer this one to the others on the market. I have 2 criteria, and I've talked about this many times, for me to go forward with a negative review. If the company is lying in their marketing, then I'll do a negative review. Or if the product is super hyped, then I'll do a negative review, assuming I have negative thoughts on it. There are lots of products that I've just given away that I never actually made a video on because it didn't fit either of those 2 criteria. I can't review everything. I have to be choosy, and I'd prefer not to make negative reviews that can harm small businesses that might have their own little niche population of consumers that enjoy what they make. So I chose the one that I like the best out of this new style, and it was the Ikape. I absolutely adore it. For those that are not familiar, I do have a full video with it, but essentially what you have here is you have a full all-in-one espresso maker. You put water up there, it heats it up on its own. So you're out, you're traveling, you're doing whatever. You toss this top on and you start it. Then it will start extracting the espresso and it can get up to 9 bar. So you have a shower screen here and it goes through your basket of tamped coffee and it brews coffee, bada bing, bada boom, right here into this cup if you want a travel cup, or if you have your own ceramic, you can just go straight into it. You can also do something similar to soup with this. It has a little lower flow rate than ideal, around 3.5 or so grams a second, but it's still great. And they give you a solid tamper with it, a little funnel. I also got the stand with it because I'm bougie, but you know, there it is. The next one should be of no surprise to anyone, one I'm very, very excited about, and that would be the explosion on the market of different fun baskets. Now, not only do we have loads of step-down baskets, but we have fun designs that, like Sworks is doing with really convex baskets. We'll get into that soon. But for now, we'll just talk about the step-downs. So step-downs have opened up a new kind of way of pulling espresso for people at home without having to change out their group head, because 58 is kind of what people have for years wanted to move towards. They're like, oh, I need to upgrade my machine to 58 millimeter. Why? It's not that it's worse, but you need more coffee in order to really get the oomph out of it. And I've shown with loads of testing, you're required to go much finer. So you automatically need a much nicer grinder, or just a grinder that gets much finer, or a grinder that produces more fines in order to get the pressure at 9 bar. With a bigger diameter. When you have a smaller diameter, none of that matters nearly as much. That's why you see so many super autos with smaller baskets. It's easier for them to cut costs on the grinder because they don't need as nice of a grinder. Whenever it's a bigger bed, the bed filters itself better. It produces more back pressure. So there's lots of benefits with these smaller diameters. If you're wanting to use smaller doses, it's beneficial to have a little deeper puck. So a lot of people have come out making these step downs. Now, we need to give credit where credit's due. The first official step down that actually was able to hold a full dose, I'm not talking about the old Italian single shot baskets that could hold 7 grams. The first person to really think we want full doses for double shots was Sheldon at Sworks, and that's where I did all of my initial testing. And then this year, excitingly, he put out a stamped model, so one that is much cheaper, much more affordable. So this is a 58 to 49 millimeter step down. Fantastic. You also have on AliExpress someone that came through and did something similar, and then you have people who were doing CNC like Introvert Makes, and Panda, I think it's called 9 Panda, also made one that's CNC, so a bit more expensive, a bit more luxurious, if you will. And then we have Graph that made 58 to 46, which is also a fantastic option. It has more of a curved bottom, so it's definitely a different style of shot than something like these, which is much more traditional on the bottom, not as curved, and way different than this, which is kind of the high extraction bottom where it has right angles at the base. So different styles are now on the market, all at different price points for you to be able to play with smaller doses, bigger doses, different puck depths. Makes it a lot more fun to play around at home rather than just doing 18 grams and a 58 where you have a puck that's thinner than a CD-ROM. You don't know what that is? Google it, you Gen Zs. Now I want to bring up something that I was really excited about, and it finally did release this year. The Physics of Espresso by my good friend, Jonathan Gagne. Now, Jonathan, if you don't know, is an astrophysicist up in Canada. What's an astrophysicist doing writing a book about coffee? Well, some years ago, he got really obsessed with coffee, took his scientific training, and applied it towards coffee. So his rigor and coffee together, boom, now there are 2 books out there by this crazy individual up there. First on filter coffee, now on espresso. He cites all of the most recent studies you can think of, so it's a pretty robust work cited in here, but he produces a lot of fun theories and speculations at what's going on inside, as well as what we do know is going on within espresso. But in addition to all of that, he walks you through some of the basic terms and ideas when you're here at the beginning, so that you can have an understanding of what is happening, even in something as simple as water chemistry. Now, I say something as simple as, but that is something we have a good grasp on. There have been loads of books and papers written about it, but there's a little primer here so that you can kind of have an understanding going into the rest of this book. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. I think most anybody can read it because he's done a really good job of breaking things down, but if you want to understand everything cover to cover, it is a bit of a trudge through the mud, unless you have some sort of science backing, or if you are just someone that is astute and you really want to have a nice challenging read. That all said, he made this a lot simpler than his first book, which was Physics of Filter Coffee, where he had a lot more equations, like Ben Affleck says in Good Will Hunting, equations and stuff on the wall. I think it's wonderful. And, of course, your boy is cited 1,000 times in here because all the dumb experiments that I do. So this one I will push that you should buy because I love Jonathan, and I think he should sell 10 million of these. Let's take over the world's coffee tables, get them on Oprah. Okay. And to finish up, we'll have one honorable mention, and this isn't really a product as much as it is kind of, I guess you could say company or person that's working on really fun things that are affordable and just fix issues that some machines have, but that is Fused Visions. So shout out to Merdad, who is the one that kind of runs that, but he's been collaborating with lots of folks in order to bring really cool ideas to life. For instance, in the background, a lot of it's 3D printed things, but he's working on machining some of them, I believe. But for instance, you have these cool kind of 3D printed bases for these kettles, which have nice little drawers on it, can tidy up your area. He has things like, one thing that he's been super excited about and a lot of people have been loving is this dose by volume. So something I've been preaching a ton is you don't dose based off of weight in your basket. You do it based off the volume, the bed depth, right? And so this is something to help you understand your bed depth, so you can use this by putting it into your basket, filling out the depth between your shower screen and where the top of the bed will be, and then you can use this essentially kind of like the razor tool that comes with the Breville. There's also slow feeders that he's been working on with different variable attachments to different grinders. But lots of really cool things and more on the way. A little sneak thing is they're also working on, he and Coffee Gear Lab, which is Aaron, they are currently working on a way to put the Pietro Pro brew burrs that I helped develop onto different grinders like the Varia VS6 and a few others, Eureka Single Dose and some other things. Go check that out as well. I'll put a link down below for all of these things. If you're curious, I will not be putting affiliate links down below. We're not doing that. We're just putting the links, so if you're curious, you can go check them out. No pressure there because, again, I don't care if you buy any of these, except for this. Definitely go buy that because Jonathan rocks. But that's about it. I just wanted to go through, show you what I'm most excited about on this year. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the little ditty at the beginning. Yeah, how about you get out of here? Hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope that you do not burn through your wallet, unless you're buying really nice coffee, in which case, burn it all. Burn all the cash out of your wallet. If you're buying trash coffee and nice grinders, you know what I think about that. It's poop. So, that's it. I hope you brew something tasty, and cheers.